Hey, back with another lick of the week. Second week in January, coming up on the second week. I started to say third week. And we're working in the low position C, Scruggs lick and fill ideas, and we're pretty much focusing this video on licks still at the 5th fret. That's where we kind of left off last week. What I want to do now is kind of modify the bar chord shape. If we move one note in this bar chord position, we can convert this C major into C minor. And sometimes minor tones, or tones from a minor chord voicing, if you want to think of it that way, also function as blues ideas, because some of the notes of a blues scale coincide with notes of a minor chord, and that's some theory stuff I'm not going to get too deeply into in this video, maybe for another video. But you can recognize this sound because it's really common in Scruggs style, and not only is this a partial minor chord, but again, like I said, it functions as a blues idea. Now here we're applying it to the 5th fret, and we're modifying this chord shape. So what we're going to do is have a partial minor chord, a partial C minor. You're going to have the first string at 5 and the second string at 4. And what I'm going to do for this is fire up the metronome, and we're going to use this minor slash C blues position, and I'm going to play the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll, which is 2-1, 2-1, 5, 2-1, 5 as 8th notes while I hold this blues position. And then I'm going to resolve it to a C. 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, C. Now let's play that in real time as 16ths. Now to blues it up even more, a lot of players will tend to choke these notes, and Earl also choked this position. And because it's based on a bar chord played in different areas of the neck, you can reproduce this lick anywhere on the fingerboard. The only notes you have to watch out for, obviously, are notes on the 5th string, because they won't always work well with this position. So for G, for C major, there's a G note in the chord anyway, so you can get by with that open 5th and it sounds good. So let me try chucking these two notes slightly as I do the roll pattern. And I have to wind my old metronome up again. So let me do the blues lick again in real time with the choke. So how many times you choke and which strings you choke? I actually choked mainly the second string with my index, but you can also choke both notes. And these two notes can be played as a pinch with a choke, and you can offset those notes with the open 5th, and also becomes a really effective C blues idea. Okay, let me move on to the same notes that we just played as far as placement of the left hand, but I'm going to modify it and start with these two notes that we played from the previous video. Remember, we played the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll as a hammer from 4 to 5 on the second string. Now I'm going to modify this position and include a little bit of that blues idea, but I'm going to modify it so that I can drop the second string back to this 4th fret again. So instead of hammering, I'll use that flatted note here. I'm going to use this E flat note, which gives me that minor slash blues tone, and I'm going to start the roll on the first string. 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, switch to the E flat note, 2, 1, 5. And to add a little more darkness to this lick, I'm going to release the first string at the end of the roll. So it's going to be 1, 5, 2. Let me try again. 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5. So by having this interval, E flat D, I have that dissonance again. Remember, we use dissonance here. Now we have a little dissonance between this note E flat, and D. So let me fire the metronome up. I'll play it as eighths, and I'll call out the notes. 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, C, resolution. Now let me play it in real time. That is a standalone lick, or it also can be used in melodies. If you think about JD's version of Nashville Skyline Rag, that's also an effective lick that can be used in that solo. So that's something effective. Now, while we're talking about dissonance, since we've previously in I think the second C video, we used this dissonant position, these two notes a half step apart. Let's add a twist to that. And I won't metronome this out, but what you're going to have is the same position before, but you're going to use your pinky now to add the first string at 5. So what in essence you're doing is combining two licks. You're combining this lick, which is the dissonant lick from last week, and you're adding the first string, which is a G note, which is the same two note choices as this. So what it gives you is a third option. So this is an amalgamation of two licks into a third lick. So you get a lot of really cool variations by adding the pinky. That makes it a little hard to hold if you're not used to doing this. But you're going to be holding this E, this F sharp, I'm sorry, not F sharp, but D sharp, and then you'll reach up for the G here, and you'll have a G on the 5th string. So you'll have basically 4 notes, 2 of the notes being the same, 2 G notes. And you can cycle around between them and come up with a lot of really cool variations. So we have this lick, which is a blues inspired lick, using the Foggy Mountain idea. You can also pinch it. Then we reuse these notes in a different way to come up with this lick. And then we've also combined a lick from last week's video with an idea from this week's. So let me fire the metronome up, and I'm going to play a bunch of these licks, starting with some of the licks from last week's video, and maybe I'll just go back and forth. Primarily we're at the 5th fret this week, but maybe I'll jump down here to the first position and then back and forth, and I'll just mix these ideas together. So there's some more low position licks centered around the 5th fret that make really effective licks. And I think what we'll do is I'll wrap up the C, low position C licks for now, because I don't want to overload you with licks. And to be honest with you, most of the Scruggs style licks that you hear have similar veins in that they come from a lot of the basic licks we've already covered. So maybe some point in the future I'll come back and show you some more advanced licks. But it's just going to be adding upon what you already know down in these first couple of positions. And so they all sound amazingly similar or have similar ideas behind them, because they're all coming from the basic premise of some of the licks that we've covered already. So there you go. Hope you enjoy them. See you next week. Thanks.